Elevate yourself. Empower others. Welcome to Coach Approach Podcast. Have you ever listened to a recording of yourself and felt like you didn't recognize your own voice? Today, we are going to unpack why that happens and how leaders reclaim the voice that builds trust, commands attention, and inspires action. Welcome to Coach Approach. I'm Marko Ristovski. Today, I'm with Arthur Samuel Joseph, founder of Vocal Awareness, a method with 10 plus thousand students and 60 plus years of helping people unlock their authentic voice. Arthur, welcome to Coach Approach.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for doing that so elegantly. How are you today, Marco?
I'm very good. I have a little bit of flu, but I will survive.
Yes, I'm sure you played many a game of football, not feeling physically your best, but it didn't matter. You showed up anyway.
Yes, of course. So your work isn't about sounding better, it's about becoming more yourself.
Well,
So
you've done
when
your homework, Marco. This is very cool.
can you tell me when someone says I don't recognize my own voice, what are they really hearing and what's missing?
Can we have any part of this podcast if you took your earphones off for a moment so I could have you share an experience with you?
Yes, of course.
Okay, take your headphones off. Now, say, I am an extraordinary man.
I'm an extraordinary man.
Now, please cup your hands to your ears just like this, Marco,
Just a second. Okay.
forming a cone like this.
Mhm.
That's a little better. And say the same sentence again.
I'm an extraordinary man.
Sounds different, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, you can take your hands away for a moment. We'll come back to this.
Okay.
You can, and if you want your headphones on, you can put them back on for a moment. If you don't need them, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I don't need them.
That's your voice as we hear you.
Oh.
Another way to experience that is to stand directly into a corner, very flush with the corner, and you hear your voice come back. We use our outer ear for by the time our voice hits that surface in front of us, whatever that surface is, and bounces back. It's a secondary reflection of our sound. We hear our own voice internally through our inner ear and bone conduction, but not so much this way. So that's
Mhm.
always an interesting insight. Whoa, that's kind of intimidating or odd. Who is that person? And you said something in your introduction about helping leaders be. What was it you said? You were reading it. Do you have it in front of you?
You help people unlock their authentic voice.
You didn't say that, but that's better. Yes, thank you. Thanks for trying to sneak it in, but you didn't say that. But that is what we're trying to do. Voice is the most intimate art form. The root of the word intimate means intrinsic or essential.
Mhm.
So, what I teach in this work, Marco, is how to be who we are. You're an elite athlete. As you may know, I've trained great numbers of Olympic gold medalists and Hall of Famers in virtually any sport you can think of, from football to American football and basketball, etc. And I'll say to one of these athletes in a first lesson, you bring the talent to your sport. They don't all have a gift, as you know, but they all have a talent. A gift is far more rare. You bring the talent to your sport, but someone teaches you every single thing you do. Everything. When did you first kick a football? Two, three?
Like, yeah, 3, 4 years old.
Yes. And then it began there. And little by little, you learned. But who teaches us to be us?
Hmm.
No one. In fact, people say to us, don't act like that. What would people think? Well, you shouldn't say that. You sound arrogant. So if I say to you, Marco, vocal awareness is extraordinary work, can change your life in moments. Now that's stupid and arrogant.
Hmm.
But what if I said this, Marco? Vocal awareness is extraordinary work. It can help you change your life in moments. That's not arrogant. That's my truth. So, again, I have a theme. I'm going to use sports as a metaphor, if that's all right with you.
Yes.
I have a theme in this work that a champion does it differently. When I was writing a Hall of Fame speech for one of my American football clients a number of years ago, he wanted to include the word champion in his speech. So he looked up the word, and we were surprised to discover that one of the interpretations of the word champion is dazzlingly skilled in any field. It's not even a sports-centric word necessarily. So what I'm going to do with you and your audience today is help them discover how to awaken their inner champion. Because they tune into your podcast because they want more. They want to learn. They have other things they could be doing than be sitting, watching, or listening to this. But they choose to be here because they value themselves in a very significant way and they want to grow. I teach that voice is power. When we own our voice, we own our power. In sport, you were taught to be your very best and to do your very best. And you didn't play 1 minute on that field hoping your coach likes what you're doing or your teammates approve. It's not even possible for that thought to be there. But we're actually taught out here as public speakers, so you have to bond with your audience. We have to make a presentation. And so part of us says, I hope you like me. What a crazy concept. So what if I'm trying to please you and your wife has another point of view? I can't please you both.
Oh.
But in sport, you're taught to be hubristic. That word is a Greek word, hubris, which means blaspheming the gods or extreme arrogance. But in sport, the only way you can do and be your best is by being totally self-focused on what you're there to do. And in doing that, it broadens your awareness of everything else, your teammates and the plays that are being called, because you're not afraid to be you. And you've been trained in doing that for years and years and years. But once again, who teaches us to be us? Only vocal awareness, my work. I own this space. And the promise is never to make you into someone you're not, but to help bring out what's possible. So if I say to you, Marco, so out here in vocal awareness, I teach that hubris is positive. It's not arrogance. So one of the exercises I ask my clients to do is to create what I call their persona statement.
Mm-hmm.
The root of that word is a Greek word, "phirsu," which means through the sound. One's identity is largely conveyed through the sound of a voice and an opinion created instantaneously. If I say, Marco, it's really nice spending time with you today. Thank you for having me on your show. Versus, Marco, it's really nice spending time with you today. Thank you for having me on your show. Now, the first one is arrogant and bogus, and I don't like that person. But we don't know why. It didn't occur to you in that moment that I spoke too fast. I spoke too high. And all that mattered was you didn't believe me. The second one, it didn't occur to you that I breathed. I slowed down and my pitch was lower. All you got was I was more genuine. Perception, reality. So this persona statement is really cool. You have two questions to answer. The first question is, How do I believe I'm presently perceived? How do I believe I'm presently perceived?
Mm.
The second question I ask you to answer is, how would I ideally like to be known? How would I ideally like to be known? Which raises a really interesting thought. I didn't know I had a choice. One of my clients, you speak so beautifully, and you live in Croatia, and your language is your first language. English is what, your second, third, or fourth language? Which is it?
Yeah, second.
Second language. And I taught Arnold Schwarzenegger for 8 or 9 years. And I remember driving to his house for his first lesson many years ago. And it occurred to me as I was driving over, what am I going to do about his accent? And I realized I wasn't going to do anything about this accent because it's part of his brand. But what we did through every movie from Conan through Twins for 8 or 9 years was refine it, make it the sound a little crisper, fix the pitch of the voice, all kinds of things, but not get rid of the accent because it's part of his identity. People come to me all the time, I don't like my voice, I don't like my accent. Well, it's your voice and it is your accent, but let's enhance what you've been given. So this persona exercise is critical because you're going to say, this is how I want to be known. But it raises this interesting concept, Marco. I didn't know I had a choice, as I've said. Which raises another interesting notion, that every single thing in life, Marco, revolves only around two things: to choose to do something or to choose not to. It never matters how scary, how seemingly daunting. All that matters is how badly I want it. Even in walking away, I made a choice. But I'm teaching communication mastery. I'm teaching empowerment through voice. So I want you only to make empowering choices. In your sport, did you ever get hurt? Of course you did.
Yes. Yes.
Did it prevent you from playing again? Of course not. And you worked really, really hard for many years at your craft. But as you and I were speaking the other day, you also had other goals in your life. You didn't want to simply be one-dimensional. So it wasn't like you were driven to be the greatest soccer, football player you could be. You were proud of your accomplishments, but you also had other things you wanted to achieve. So the second piece that we create is your vision statement. What is the contribution I want to make?
Mm.
What is it that only I can do? We're living in the most dangerous time in our world since 1932. Hitler didn't become chancellor until 1933. We have this demagogue in America speaking vile things and is ranting, designed to intimidate, to scare, to threaten, just like all demagogues. We know that the far right is rising in many cultures. They want to usurp power. I don't want anybody to take our power from us. So I'm passionately committed to helping us own our power, so nobody can take it from us through intimidation or gruffness or whatever it might be. So let me ask you to sit up straight, please. Sit at attention, Marco. Sit up nice and tall. Right. Now you notice you hold your breath. One, now you can relax. One, because of how aggressive I was when I asked you to do that. But also, when we sit at attention, we hold our breath. We walk out on the stage. I hope my audience likes me. We get on a podcast, a Zoom call. That's what we're doing. We're sitting at attention, holding our breath, for fear of what others might think of us. Am I good enough? Now, I'm going to ask you to take this golden thread in your left or right hand, and we're going to pull it from 3 inches below your navel. That's where core begins. That's the center of your body right there, as you already know. And I'm going to slowly and gracefully pull this thread from my core, helping you embody yourself as an extraordinary man of stature. So pull this thread with me, embodying yourself as an amazing man of stature. Pull the thread with me, Marco. Use your hand to do what I'm doing. Now, rest again. We're going to start over in just a moment. Did you notice the first thing your body already did? It inhaled. Did you notice that?
Yes.
I told you to sit at attention. You hold your breath. I ask you to claim yourself by being a man of stature. The body's first impulse is to breathe. So let's pull this golden thread slowly, embodying yourself as an extraordinary man of stature. Right up to the middle of your crown chakra, the middle of your head, right there. Fully extending that arm. Neck, shoulders loose. Everything is from here. We know in sport that everything is core and quads. It's no different in our vocal work. Taller, feeling amazing. Arm down. And now somewhere in your evolution as an athlete, somebody taught you about follow-through. Everything you did, from the way you stood to the way you kick, is follow-through. You don't just stand on the field like this, you stand on the field like that. That thread is always pulling. So now, that stature is preparation for everything. The first of our 7 rituals is this. Within yourself, not aloud, say thank you to God or thank you to Source, however you want to interpret that phrase, and really take it in deeply. Don't say it aloud. And once again, the first thing you did was inhale. You observe that. And your inner space and external space got quieter. Correct? Before you walked on the field, you've stretched. How long would you stretch your hamstrings before a match?
Like 40 minutes before I'm warming up, getting in the mood.
Yes. And yet all these professional voice users we're talking to right now, nobody warms up their voices. Look at the care you would labor over a hamstring, the longest muscle in your body to kick a ball, and the total disregard we show for our lungs, the smallest, the one we make a living with, the one we live our lives with.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous, but that's the way it works. So, stay in stature, please. And the last thing you did before you walked on the field, you had a prayer, didn't you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Rituals. Did they ever change? Of course not. They don't change, but out here, we just open the door and walk into the meeting. We just get on this podcast to the Zoom meeting with no preparation, no rituals. But to be in mastery, as you were as an elite player, one must always integrate mind, body, spirit. It's not just great biomechanics. It's all these other elements. Is this correct for you as well?
Yes.
But we don't use it out here. But we do in vocal awareness because I'm teaching mastery. May I ask you to stand and sit 2 times, please, Marco?
Yes.
Please stand. Just in place. Now, just sit down and relax. Forget all this stature, schmatcher stuff and just relax. Sit down and just kick back and relax. Notice how you feel. Notice how your space feels. Stand in place one more time. Turn off your left brain and don't try to figure this out, Marco. Just hear the words. Love and let go. Feel what it might be like to simply love and let go. And when you choose to, sit down. Once again, you had a choice. And this time the body breathed before you even moved once again. And you're quieter, you're stiller, and more relaxed. All that is accurate, correct?
Correct.
The root of the word spirit, spiritus, means to breathe. I don't want to motivate anybody. It never interests me. I want to inspire everyone. Inspirare, to breathe into them. The Hebrew word neshama means both soul and breath. I trained Tony Robbins many years ago, and he would refer to he's a motivational speaker in America, and he would refer to my 7 rituals as pattern interrupts. He would always teach that to break an old pattern, to create a new pattern, you have to exaggerate behavior to break an old one. Our breath is our pattern interrupt. It shifts our behavior from unconscious to consciously aware. Take a nice deep breath, top of the morning. And exhale. Cup your hands to your ears, please, like this. Perfect. And take that deep breath and say that I am an extraordinary man phrase one more time.
I am an extraordinary man.
Okay. Does it sound a little different? Can you recall?
Yes, more confident.
Okay. Take your hands away. Now, I don't want you to take a deep breath ever again. Instead, I want you to allow a slow, silent, loving breath. What an odd concept. But you've looked at my client list perhaps, so you know you're in good company. Slow, silent, loving, and allowed. It will take 5 to 7 seconds and I will guide it, so eyes on me, please. And all of you out there, join in, please. This is really a powerful experience. Loving, deeper, deeper, deeper. Keep inhaling, deeper, more, much more, deeper. Superb. And exhale. Cup your hands to your ears. I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to ask you to see the word extraordinary underlined and the word man underlined. And do you use the word period or full stop?
Uh, Period.
Period. So I want you to see that period at the end of the sentence circled. I am an extraordinary man, underline, underline. In stature, source, neck, shoulders loose, slow, loving, deeper, deeper, deeper. And at the apex, begin.
I am an extraordinary man.
Tell me that and use your eyes at the same time. That gave me chills. Thank you. Neck, shoulders loose. 3, deeper. Tell me the truth.
I'm an extraordinary man.
Rest. Are those any different than when you first did it?
Yes, a lot.
A lot. Did I ask you to do anything other than to be the man you are? No. Didn't ask you to pretend, didn't ask you to put on airs. And all we did was breathe differently, sit differently, and communicate with our eyes a little bit more. The mouth is where the words come from, but the eyes tell the story. You are an extraordinary man versus you are an extraordinary man. Totally different. So this is just a small taste because I know we're running out of time. And I know I've taken your entire coach approach, 20, almost 30 minutes of your coach approach, and you haven't gotten to say one thing. Was this acceptable to you, I hope?
For me, that's more than acceptable.
Tell me that again with a loving breath. No, it's not a bench press. It's slow and silent.
I'm an extraordinary man.
Doesn't that feel great? And no contractions. It's not I'm. It's I am. It's more, you confirm it more. Now, you know as an athlete that your mastery is in the subtlety. What might seem trivial to somebody who doesn't understand what it takes may seem not necessary. But you know that in that little adjustment, something important could happen. What I'm showing you today is mastery. We change breath. It's different. I'm talking to your unconscious and doing that. You never kicked a ball or threw a ball like this. It was always like that. It's physics. It's called the Bernoulli effect. Voice is aerodynamic, just like kicking a football. So it's always like that too when we speak. Never this way. People teach people to speak to the last row of the house. What a stupid thing to do. When I do that, I raise my pitch and I get faster. In our work, we don't do that. We just see what I call the edge and arc of sound, holding the power of who we are. And then when I had you underline a couple words, that's one of the trademark techniques of vocal awareness called visceral language. You may know that I'm a classical singer by training, and I look at music and it tells me everything to do. But speakers just look at words. Or when people do PowerPoint slides, they often just have bullets. They don't even have text. And they're making it up. But I make voice visual. Just like what happened when you saw those two words underlined. So, has this been worth your time today, Marco?
Absolutely.
I couldn't hear you. I didn't believe you. I'm sorry. What?
It absolutely has a great
When you played, there was no off switch. You were always in mastery. The moment you left the field, you were just Marco again. In vocal awareness, there is no off switch. We're always in mastery. Of course, I could hear you, but you weren't in our work anymore. There was no breath. There was no seeing the word. You rushed. So say that word the way you mean it to sound. Has this been worth your time today, Marco?
Yes, it definitely worth my time.
Now more naturally. And say absolutely. 3, 2.
Absolutely.
See that L underlined. One more
Mm.
time. 3, 2.
Absolutely.
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 Yes, do you hear what it did?
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me share my toys.
Thank you very much for sharing this on Coach Approach.
Any questions? Anything you want to ask?
I want to ask you just to share where can people find you?
Arthur, my website is vocalawareness.com. And if anyone cares to write me, they write to support@vocalawareness.com, and my team forwards the emails to me and then I reply. My vision, Marco, as I shared the other day, is to change the world through voice. Voice is power. My goal, I turn 80 in January and I begin my 62nd year of teaching. My goal has never changed either, is to help all those I work with to achieve their own enlightenment and enjoy their own empowerment. I want us to all have the opportunity to be in the sovereignty of how we're created to be. Claim who we are, claim our power without flinching, so that we can always live life on our terms to the best of our ability.
Can I ask one more question?
Please.
Why I felt like why I am afraid of silence and what something changes when I embraced the silence. So I'm always in a hurry when I'm talking. And I learned now that the silence is like some key factor. Silence, this
Very
slow breath.
astute. Very astute. See, that didn't scare you. It didn't intimidate you at all. In fact, it felt grounding and relaxing. Space has value.
Mhm.
A song without a rest is not the same piece of music. Your generation, Marco, streams data when they talk. You're what I call the fingers and thumbs generation. And your fingers go really fast, your thumbs go really fast. But we've lost the art of public discourse. We don't know how to communicate anymore. In fact, I was speaking with a man who's building this AI device the other day. He's telling me that AI is almost to the point where you couldn't recognize it's not a person. That's a little scary. So it's the silence where we're in touch with ourselves. And that's intimidating sometimes because it's so intimate, Marco. It can make us feel vulnerable. But I never want you to be vulnerable, because to be vulnerable can put you in jeopardy. Rather, I'd like you to make the choice to be open, because that gives you choice. And to be in this awareness that I don't need to hide, protect. Look what I've achieved in my life already. I'm so young. I'm sitting here. I created this coach approach. Look at all the valuable things you've already done and you and your wife are doing in your life. So my responsibility is to help you own that. And one of the ways we do that is by being in what I call the work, the capital W, so that we respect the value of space. We work on these principles and these techniques. And that's what they are, they're techniques. The more we do them, it's all about us, but it has nothing to do with us. Everyone improves. Did I answer your question except, all right?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much. Anything else?
No, Arthur, thank you. This is the work that restores connection with myself. And that connection is in silence.
Tell me that again with your eyes on me, please. With a loving breath.
This is the work that restores connection. And that connection is in the silence.
Did you hear your voice was very different? Because when you make eye contact with another person, it changes the sound of your voice. And because you allowed a loving breath without even knowing what the heck that concept means. But your body already knew.
Mm.
So, thank you for that. I'm so glad.
Elevate yourself empower others. Welcome to Coach Approach Podcast.